Ladies and gentlemen, the Super Bowl is coming up this Sunday, and I was reading this article, and it just made me want to make a little video talking about it, because, it seems like every year Americans love to gamble more and more. And, I figured we could talk about it, so let's go. Alright, so I know that not everybody that watches this channel is a ginormous sports fan, Personally, out of all the sports leagues, the NFL is my favorite. I'm a little bit excited for the Super Bowl. But I was reading this article about how viewership is going to be skyrocketing, and it just casually mentioned gambling will be too. Super Bowl predicted to have the biggest audience yet, and record bets too. Now, the viewership, I don't know. I don't know if this is surprising or not. I didn't really watch much of the regular season this year. I've only really been paying attention to the playoffs. That being said, I would be flabbergasted if this year was not record-breaking in terms of bets placed, bro. If gambling was a watermelon, then the NFL would basically be attempting to shove a watermelon down my throat hole this year with the amount of, gambling and sports books ads that they've had on. Listen, I understand that we live in America, it's a free place, everybody's got the right to gamble, but I do worry a little bit sometimes about, just bombing everyone with gambling commercials, because it is something that people can get addicted to and, ruin their life, And I feel like at least a little bit right now on some of these commercials, it's like, you can get rich and quit your day job with this sports book. And, gambling can be a fun pastime, but that's all it'll really be, dude. Chances are you're never going to be able to be winning $80 million by betting on NFL games. There's a reason casinos build billion-dollar casinos. It's not because they're good at losing money. I think the viewership and the gambling might work a little bit hand in hand too, because if you've got some money riding on the game, you're definitely going to be watching, And with more and more people being casual gamblers, it seems like a lot more people are going to have something riding on the Super Bowl. That's just a game theory, I don't know that for sure, but I would assume if you've got money on the game, you tend to watch it more. The 2022 Super Bowl between the Bengals and the Rams is projected to reach a record audience, and betting on the bid game could pass 7 billion. The viewership projection comes from data analytics firm PredictHQ, which estimates the NFL League Championship will attract 117 million viewers on NBC Network, the host of this year's Super Bowl, and that would be an increase of 21% compared to the 2021 Super Bowl, which attracted 96.4 million viewers, or the NFL's lowest audience since 2007. It's insane how many bets are placed on just one game, bro. $7 billion. Obviously, I was born and raised in Las Vegas, so, gambling isn't something that I haven't been around before, but it always blows my mind exactly how many bets will be placed before a UFC fight or a Super Bowl, a big gambling event. This should be a pretty good inclination, though, as to, why the odds of you coming in and clearing out a casino aren't very good. Mr. High Roller walking in thinking he's gonna do something insane with his $100,000 bet. These casinos are taking $7 billion on a busy weekend. Your 100 grand is just a drop in the bucket. And chances are, if you actually had some insane edge that was gonna clear out the casino, they just wouldn't let you bet. That's something that, a lot of people I don't think necessarily realize about gambling. If someone's bragging about how they're always walking into casinos and placing $100,000 bets, that's not a flex. It means that they suck. Because if you were really, really good at gambling and making a bunch of money, the casinos just stop letting you play because they're not in the business of losing money. They can do that? Yeah, they can. Which is why sometimes when people flex that, I got to place a $1 million bet at Caesars, it means Caesars thinks you're probably a moron, bro. They're not in the business of losing money. Sure, every now and then there's gonna be someone out there that gets incredibly lucky, but overall, it's just wild to me how much gambling is starting to become, super normal. I'm not even against it, dude. I do have a sportsbook account. I do be placing bets. I'm just not delusional out here thinking it's, the key to growing actual wealth. It's gambling. It's in the name. And listen, I'm not going to blame people that get addicted to gambling. I think a lot of it's the marketing about how oh, you can win all this money. And it's yeah, conveniently leaving out the fact that there's a bunch of people around the country that do go broke gambling too. Loop Capital Markets determined a Bengals-Rams Super Bowl matchup would drive new TV sales for Best Buy, and in addition, McGuire Capital notes that NBC sold out of its ad inventory, charging $7 million per 30 seconds in some deals. And that's more than the $6.5 million last year, and up from the $5.5 million they charged for Super Bowl 55, and it's the first time NBC's broadcasting the game since 2018. This speaks to the popularity of the sport this year, where ratings were up 10% overall, and to the underlying strength of the ad market. McGuire wrote in a February 4th note to clients, advertisers also get more value for their $7 million, with their ads appearing on Telemundo broadcast as well as the Peacock stream. It's insane that we live in a country where so much of our economy can be affected by one sporting event. You know, I think it's like, it goes to show how cool it can be to live here sometimes, dude. One sporting event and they're like, consumer spending is gonna rise 30% in a weekend because of one sport. That's just absolutely bonkers, dude. Like, imagine one sports game actually having a tangible impact on the demand for TVs countrywide. Yep, NFL can do that. You know, whether or not you like football, it is nuts that you can be like, oh, all of the snack food brands are going to have a great month because of the Super Bowl. So many things are just kind of affected by this, and I've never really thought about it until it's all laid out like this. You know, obviously, I knew gambling was going to do well. I knew chips and dips were going to have a good weekend on the Super Bowl. But to hear that, like, TVs, you know, advertising, snack food, the flights, people are going to the game, all of this stuff is having like billions of dollars more put into it because of just some sporting event. And what's wild to me too is, like, obviously I would say the Super Bowl is probably the biggest sporting event in America, but the other final games aren't necessarily small either, dude. I think this is probably the easiest to measure because it's one day. Most other sporting events are like a series. But that being said, I'm sure they notice an uptick in like Lay's chips being sold around the Baseball World Series. It's just weird to think about how much all of our economies kind of intertwine, dude. Even if you're in the business of like selling potato chips, you have to be conscious of the NFL schedule because you're going to have a big uptick in demand at the start of February every year. That all inside with gambling, and it's like, dude, what in the world? Only in America could football be like a multi-billion dollar piece of the economy. I know you Europeans got soccer, all right, but you know, these advertisers are nuts though. $7 million for 30 seconds. I guess if you're a sports book though, $7 million for 30 seconds for a cut of the $7 billion bet on this one game isn't that bad of statistics, right? Oh, okay, we paid $7 million, but people placed $1 billion in bets on this day alone. They're like, all right, whatever. It was worth it. Sports betting projected to hit record. On the sports gambling front, the American Gaming Association projected that 31.4 million Americans would bet $7.6 billion on the game. That's up from 3.3 billion last year. Holy cow, double? They estimate 55% of gamblers will bet on the Rams winning the Super Bowl, 45% on the Bengals. Jim McInglevale, better known as Mattress Mac, bet $4.5 million on the Bengals to win. Data from FanDuel shows the Rams are favorites to win by 4 points or less, but 59% of its handle is on the Bengals. Also, as of today, DraftKings shows 54% of its handle on the Bengals too. Sports betting is now legal in 30 states and Washington, D.C. last month. New York arrived on the market and lured $1.6 billion in wagers, unseating New Jersey as the top sports betting market in the U.S. I mean, obviously I knew that betting was going to be up from last year. A lot more states made it legal, you know, it's been advertised a lot more. People are talking about it a lot more. That being said, going from 3.3 billion to 7.6 billion, holy cow, that's quite the jump, dude. I mean, you know, I just kind of expected a little bit more slow growth, maybe $1 billion, 25% over a year, 100% growth, basically, a little more than that even, in bets placed in a single year is nuts. It does make me wonder, though, like, how much bigger can this industry really get? If it's already legal in 30 states plus DC, then, you know, that only leaves 20 states left. When you start looking at where it's legalized, I'm not sure what big markets don't have it there yet. But I don't know, man. I also am just not too sure if gambling being so normal and everyone being able to place bets from a smartphone is the greatest thing ever. I don't even think gambling should be illegal, okay? I'm not on that front. I just feel like it's the smartphone thing that makes me nervous. If somebody can wager their entire life savings on a game from their iPhone. Like, I don't know, something about that feels weird. At the bare minimum, make them go in and lose their mortgage with dignity at a blackjack table, shoeless on 18 shots of tequila, the way Las Vegas intended. Overall, though, below. You know, it's just weird to me that everybody's treating gambling like it's some type of investment. I watch this YouTuber, Spencer Cornelia, that's always busting these gurus that are like, I can make you rich with gambling, you know? At the end of the day, whether or not you gamble, just remember, it is gambling. No matter what your strategy is, you are wagering money that you could 100% lose. If you're okay with that and you're just putting some money down to have fun and you know you're gambling, that's all right. But it's not the type of thing that you should be like focusing on to make return on your money and get rich, because it is gambling at the end of the day. Regardless, though, I just figured this was interesting. I would share it with y'all, so hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, I'd appreciate you taking a second to press the like button. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought. If you really want to help me out, subscribe, turn on notifications. I would very much appreciate it. And, of course, comment the word poop down below. It helps me hit recommended. If you want to be really, really fantastic, I'll put a link to this Spotify show that I've got going on at the top of the description. Feel free to go give those a listen. I would very much appreciate it. And there's going to be another link in the description that's a link to the merch store. As you can see from your screen right now, this hoodie is absolutely fantastic, and it can be yours by visiting the link in the description, so be sure to go do that. On that note, though, guys, I think that'll really do it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I'll see you guys all next time. I'm going to go bet my entire house on the Super Bowl. I'm out. Peace.